Right, let's talk some goats. I believe that now's the right time to cover the subject about the Venti herd, the small goats that we've got, and the poisoning that took place and the loss of life. The reason I haven't done it earlier is because goats were still dying, and oh, fell down a hole in the orchard. I would like to cover some stuff about, you know, how we actually carry on and how you pick yourself up when things are going really badly and you feel like the world's against you. The Venti are in here. We're down to 10. We've lost 9, so we'll try and put a positive slant on things. We managed to save 10 of them. Well, it certainly looks that way. We've got one with a little bit of a dodgy stomach. That's Snow White. But we think she's okay. The rest are pretty much strong. Now, they've all been sick. For those of you that aren't aware, a farm very, very close to us had sprayed some Roundup, or a variant of that, which is a systemic weed killer, and we didn't realise at the time, and yeah, the whole young herd fed upon pasture that had been contaminated, and it was a combination of Toon cutting some fodder which she didn't know was been sprayed, which was a government tree, which you're not supposed to spray, obviously, and the other thing was spray drift onto our land. But what I'm not going to go into this video is, you know, our course of action as regards the person who had sprayed. And the main reason is in Thailand, you know, I'm a guest, and Toon's obviously Thai, and I don't have to, but I think it's a good idea to take on board, you know, what your other half, what their opinion is and how best to deal with something. I know, you know, some of you have said sue the so and so and do this, do that. It's no good me going into a full-on rage mode, because Toon's got to do what she thinks right about the situation, and it has been and still is as you know, bad enough without me ranting in her ear, we need to do this, we need to do that. So I pretty much left it up to her how best to deal with that. Of course, she did have the added guilt to it, because she cut some of the fodder that was contaminated. I don't blame her 1%. You know, I don't know what's more idiotic, to be fair. I don't know whether it's more idiotic that someone has been spraying government trees that you can't kill, but anything else that eats that foliage there's a good chance of it dying, or as being idiotic to believe that someone wouldn't be that idiotic. Now, after time, I just put it down to lack of education about the dangers of these terrible chemicals in the wrong hands. The losses, yeah, emotionally very hard, financially very hard as well. So out of the 9 deaths, we had 4 bucklings, so you'd rattle them out at just over 2,000 baht each when they get to 20 kg. The doelings, it's hard to put a price on those because we don't sell them. When you do sell them, ideally you're selling them when they're coming into their 2nd pregnancy, so they've already kidded at least once, which would give you another buckling or a doeling, and then you sell them for 6,000. So yeah, if a doeling has given you was going to give you another doeling, there's 12,000 baht per doeling. kicking the ball back, isn't it? Excuse my French. You know, it's bad enough losing goats anyway, but the financial thing on top of that is, you know, it's like a double whammy, isn't it? Our course of action for treating them. Well, first off, the symptoms, they went a little bit quiet, and then it was chronic diarrhea. But I know it sounds terrible, but the smell, you could smell the chemical. I mean, you can always smell the chemicals around here when they spray. You know, it's just they're spraying any conditions. We had some Muppet spraying while it was raining the other day. Incredible. So yeah, the pungent smell of chemicals when they got the trots. Your main course of action is getting the fluids and the loss of the salts and the minerals back in their body. So it was electrolytes, water obviously, biochar, your activated charcoal, what else, baking soda to try and neutralize the acidity in the stomachs. I think we made a bit of an error initially, because we'd got one medication where you can give them a shot and it helps to stop them having the trots. Looking back now, I think you're better off just letting it all come out. I mean, you know, your body when it gets the runs, it's obviously trying to get rid of whatever nasty things in your body, you know. So yeah, whether we could have saved another couple or so, I don't know. The vet said get ready to lose all of them once we told him what they'd had. So, you know, for us to still have 10 venties, it's hard to say we're happy with it, but you know, thank God it wasn't all 19. Control measures that we've put in place now. These aren't free ranging, they're in the orchard at the moment, so they can't go all the way along the boundary of the property. So if someone else sprays, they're not sort of like out for the day and can eat anything from spray drift. But it does mean that we're a little bit more hands-on again with making sure that they're full. No problem in here. They've had 2 days in here so far. They're making good headway. They're certainly happy in here, and they're putting a little bit of weight back on. They all went like 4-legged chopsticks. It was really, really sad to see. They become very, very bloated. You can hear all the fluid inside them, and when they pass, the smell from the internals is something else. It really is. I won't go into too many gory details. Hey, we just had a visit on the farm. There's a guy looking to buy some goats, some young ones, some young girls. So Toon's not here. She's attending a funeral in the village at the moment. So I gave her a quick call and she spoke to him, and you just got to be honest, haven't you? Yeah, we got some that we would potentially think about selling for the right price. But you know, I don't think they're 100% out of the woods yet, so can't even entertain selling, you know, an animal that may potentially be sick to someone else. It's hard enough to get a good reputation anyway, certainly with goats around here. There's quite a bit of backstabbing that goes on, so you know, if you get a bad reputation, that will stick. So yeah, we'll try and sell him some big ones, see how that goes. Right, let's try and get through here again. You can see I've just fallen behind totally with a lot of the farm work. I've been strimming the last few days, but not in here. We did want the goats to come in here anyway, so I've let it grow big intentionally, but not this much. There's plenty of fodder for them. The big goats on the island, generally speaking, very happy with them, but we have had some loss of life there as well. It's all in the same sort of space of like 3 or 4 weeks that this has happened. First off, we had young Yabby, It was a lovely little buckling, and he was still on there, basically keeping Bullseye company when Bullseye was being kept on the island, getting him out of the habit of jumping the fence. And unfortunately he got out of his own room at night. I don't know, I think a big goat must have forced the gate open, and he got out, and he got gouged. So that was first thing in the like 6:30 in the morning. As I went to the goat island, I could hear this crying, strange cry as well. I got there, and what should have been on the inside of his stomach was on the outside of his stomach. So I had to dispatch him quick smart. So that was a bit of an ordeal. I found it a lot easier than killing Big Booby Samantha, our dairy goat. That's the first one I've had to have a dispatch. Yeah, when you see a goat in that much discomfort, it's a full-on emergency, and you just have to act quick. I found that pretty straightforward, but yeah, it was you can't unsee something like that. So that was a bit of a to-do. And then the next one was, bless her, was big Geraldine. She was picking up, actually. She was doing really well, so we started letting her off the island, and she just got blindsided by Sam, one of our big goats. She's second in the pecking order, and yeah, she just smashed into her midriff, and that was it. She never walked again. So we had to dispatch her, and yeah, she was with kid, so yeah, very upsetting that was. So we've had a bad old run, to say the least. Anyway, this chap seems quite keen. He came in here taking a video, now he's outside taking some photos, so fingers crossed we're going to sell a few of the big ones. Try and get a bit of shade. It's so hot. We're expecting a lot more rain today, so we normally get a high increase in temperatures just before a big downpour. Thankfully the water levels on the farm have started to drop by about 2 or 3 inches, so we've got a little bit of leeway. Picking ourselves up and keeping going. We had one day that was really bad. I think it's the one and only time I've ever thought about binning it off. It coincided that we went to the village house and we're having a look round there, and it sort of like brought memories back when our life was a lot simpler, a lot more straightforward. And I just thought, flipping heck, what I'd give just for a few days, just like the old times, living in the other village house, and putting my feet up and watching a bit of TV or something. And then I got a grip. You know, these sort of things do test you, and yeah, when you're emotionally taxed and very tired, and of course you got the sort of like you know, the upsetting side of things as well. It's yeah, sometimes it takes its toll on you. We're only human, aren't we? But you keep going, and then it makes you think, well, these things make you stronger, and I'm not sure if they do. Maybe long term. I think experiencing these things in combination with time has the potential to make you stronger. But other than that, I think it makes you weaker, because you can only take so much. And then, you know, the straw that broke the camel's back, is that the saying? Yeah, sometimes you just say, I can't take anymore, I can't take anymore, and then something else happens. You know, sometimes you surprise yourself when you think you can't take any more, and you're at your wit's end, and then something else happens, and you're like, somehow, I don't know how, but somehow, I think partly to do with Toon being my better half of the team, you get strength from your partner. Well, I certainly do, and that's what's helped me get through it. And I do feel stronger now, but there's no two ways about it. It's until you have time to reflect on things and put things into perspective, it's bloody hard, guys, really bloody hard. And that's the reason, one of the reasons I haven't done this video. You know, it's just too raw when you're going through it. And of course we'd, you know, could have done a bloody 2 or 3 videos every single day, you know, because another goat was falling ill, another goat was dying, you know, another goat was getting smashed, another goat was getting gouged, you know, and it, before you know it, it's a bloody goat gore fest, you know. And you know, we've got enough of those videos anyway, so I thought, no, let's wait until hopefully there's a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and we can do something that, yeah, paints a balanced picture, really, you know, the good and the bad, the positives and the negatives. I just thought of another negative. Our matriarch goat called Sherbet. She's a brilliant goat. We're so lucky to have her as the matriarch. Sometimes you get your top goat is a horrible animal and just smashes everyone. She got bitten by a snake and her legs went, she was all over the place, and thankfully we acted quick enough and we saved her. But when she was down, that was the day that I was just like, I don't know what we're going to do now. If it throws, you know, when you lose the matriarch, it throws your hierarchy of your herd out, and I thought, can't take anymore. Yeah, Toom worked her magic, and she pulled round, thank God. She's a lovely goat. I think after that, you know, I started to pick myself up again. Yeah, so that's the reason why I didn't post a video on it. I got a comment the other day. Wasn't particularly well worded, I have to say. The tone wasn't the best to read. But yeah, someone was saying, you know, you should update the situation. Everything was doom and gloom 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I appreciate that. But Toom did say in the video, give us time. Same with the RAF race, give us time, guys. You know, we could go and do it, but 90 nowadays, where are you going to do a RAF race? Let's get real. He did have one good point. I did say I was going to do a live stream as well, and sort of like do a meet-up online with you guys. But again, you know, it's just everything in perspective, eh? Most of you, thankfully the vast majority of you are a bit more understanding, and you've been listening to things that I've been saying in videos that maybe not just about, you know, particularly about goats, but I have mentioned it, and a lot of you have sent messages, emails, comments, all that sort of stuff. You know, so a lot of you were kept up to date, certainly through Facebook as well. But it's hard, you know. It's the last thing you fancy doing is picking up a bloody camera when you got to go and sort out a dead goat. You know, it is. My custard apples got obliterated by the wild birds here. It's just shocking, but never mind. I got a few. I got my sugar rush fix. All right, Lucy. Our last half of the ball and chain. She's made it. Thank goodness, eh? But we miss Yeti. And they were like, they're so close, brother and sister. She's a little bit lost without him, ain't you, girl? But thank God we still got you, eh? Gonna be a big girl. When we told the vet that it didn't look like all of them were gonna die, it was like, we'll just be aware that they may not develop as they should do. You know, we just have to wait and see, won't we? In which case, I don't know what we'll do with them. If they don't develop as they should do, I don't want to sell them to other people. It'll have to be the old meat man, you know. We'll see, eh? Lucy. Hey, good girl, aren't you, hey? The other thing is we had just had the fence system upgraded on the farm. We'd put an extra centre fence in through the middle of the land to separate the pasture, so we could rotate the herd, make sure that we control the parasites better. 2 weeks on each section. But now I'm just paranoid now of chemicals coming onto the land. The position of our land, you can't stop water. You can't stop water coming onto the land. And I know we hold water, which obviously doesn't help. I mean, this bloody Roundup and such like, it's water soluble. So high winds and rain, people are still bloody spraying the stuff. So, you know, now you got to think, well, rainy season, are we now not going to let the herd out on pasture? Are we going to cut and carry for the wet seasons, and then dry seasons, when the drainage ditch is empty, then we can let the goats out? I think that's the way. I think that's the way we've got to do it. So yeah, cut and carry. So we've been putting Napier grass in, and other grasses that grow big and fast, and that Toon and I can cut easily and transport it to the island. So it's going to be a little bit more hard work, but got nothing else to do. But at least, you know, if there's any standing water, these grasses, you cut them quite high off the ground. You don't cut them off at ground level, so you know what's going into the animals, you know, and they can't overgraze, of course. So I think that's something that will have to evolve, and I don't think we've got much option. So it's something unexpected, but we can't go through what we've been through before. Look at the sky. Hey. Don't look at my custard apples. Well, okay, have a giggle. Just to let you know, because we do get various messages and comments and emails and such like, we haven't got any boar goats for sale, guys. Some of our goats do have some percentage of boar in them, but we don't have any pure breeds. You know, our breeding book is Kalahari Red, but he's not a pure breed. Bullseye is a high percentage Kalahari. We don't export goats out of the country either. We sell to a guy. He just comes and buys the live animals. If you want a live animal, you have to arrange to come and get that goat. We're not going to send any goats anywhere. It's farm gate pickup, live animals only. The only animals that we do sell as processed meat are like any goat that has had an accident and needs to be put out of their misery. Then Toon cleans it and we put the message out. But to be honest with you, they're gone within a few hours. We've got a nice little list now. There is information on our website. You know, there's contact information there as well. Please use the email. I find it so much more easy. Messenger's probably the worst one to get me through Facebook. Comments on the channel, not too much of a problem at all, but you know, I don't like putting certain information on there. But email, that's the way to go if you want to get hold of us. I might take a few days to get back in contact with you, but I will get in contact with you guys. Hopefully it'll rain later on, and then Toon will wear some black plastic again, eh?